What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Stub Stories. It's been a couple weeks. I didn't release an episode due to the current climate. There was just kind of a lot going on in the world, and the environment wasn't really conducive to talking about awesome shows that I went to in the past. So I took a couple weeks off to focus on some more important stuff, but we're back. Today I'm going to do 3 different shows that I went to. We're going to start with Good Charlotte in 2003 in Providence, Rhode Island at the Dunkin' Donuts Center. We're going to go up to the Kiss 108 Jingle Ball in 2003 at the Songus Arena in Lowell, Massachusetts. And then we're going to finish it off with Fall Out Boy, Black Clouds and Underdogs tour from 2006 at the DCU Center in Worcester, Massachusetts. So the first show we're going to talk about today is Good Charlotte's 2003 show at the Dunkin' Donuts Center in Providence, Rhode Island, with supporting acts Something Corporate, who I love, and Mest. Alright, so October 11th, 2003, Good Charlotte was on there. Probably at this point, it was probably the 3rd tour, I would say, I guess, of the Young and the Hopeless record. They were still massive, putting out huge hits off of that record, and still doing arena tours. This tour, I think, missed Massachusetts, so it must have been a B market because they played in Providence. But I remember me and my buddy Mike shot down to Providence, Rhode Island, checked these guys out at the Dunkin' Donuts Center, and it was awesome. I remember this show starting and us getting into the arena, running to the front of this to the front of the floor, trying to get up against that grate because Mest was opening. Who I loved Mest when I was younger. I'm not the biggest Mest fan now, but Mest was cool. They had a bunch of huge. Not huge, I shouldn't say that's not true, but they had like very catchy pop punk music. It was kind of whiny at the same time. It's definitely a band that you loved when you were, I don't know however old I was then, 15, 16 years old. Loved Mest then. I remember they had the song Cadillac. I was like, got my top down, seat back, rolling in my Cadillac, na 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 na, something. Like awesome band. Super good live. But that was kind of like the peak of my Mest fandom, would have been probably this show. But they were cool. After them, it was Something Corporate, who I love. I actually like Something Corporate more now, as I'm a little bit older and kind of appreciate Andrew McMahon's lyrics and just how awesome it was that that band toured with a actual piano and not just like a keyboard. And he rocked the hell out of it every single night. It was awesome. He, if I remember correctly, was probably playing barefoot. I feel like every time I've seen Something Corporate, he was barefoot, or at least in sandals, which at the time I thought was super weird because I was younger and everything was about, you know, wearing Vans and like looking punk as fuck. And then to see this guy up there, you know, very like preppy, I guess you would say, kind of style, like more like American Eagle, Abercrombie and Fitch type style, which definitely wasn't my thing back then. But they were awesome. I mean, some of the coolest pop punk songs ever are written by this band. And then obviously Andrew McMahon went on to have massive success with Jack's Mannequin, and now Andrew McMahon in the Wilderness. He's open for like Dave Matthews Band, and everybody knows who Andrew McMahon is now. But yeah, at the time it was just such a cool bill. You had your you know, pop punk-esque band Mest, who are like super catchy, tried to be a little tougher than they actually were. Then you had your main support act with Something Corporate, who were writing easily the best songs out of the 3 bands that were playing, with a piano and a little more, you know, kind of like leaning towards the adult-ish sound. And then you had Good Charlotte, who were on top of the freaking world in 2003, putting on amazing shows, just massive production. They're awesome. Some of the best pop punk songs ever are written from Good Charlotte, and they come from those first 2 records. So seeing them again was awesome. Obviously they only had 2 records out, so the set list was pretty much all Young and the Hopeless and their self-titled record, which is great for me. Those are my 2 favorites. I wish I could remember more of what happened with that show, but it was kind of a long time ago. But yeah, they were awesome. A year before that, I had seen them at the DCU Center in Worcester. So about a year later, they were still killing it in arenas, which was great. So shout out Good Charlotte. Show number 2 is the Kiss 108 Jingle Ball at the Songus Arena in Lowell, Massachusetts, 2003. All right, so December 15th, 2003. It was a Monday night. At the time, not a huge pop music fan, but my friend Mike and I loved Simple Plan. So Kiss 108 was kind of like the big, or is kind of like the big like pop music radio station around here. They hold 2 shows every year. They would hold the summer Kiss 108 summer Kiss concert, I think, for like their summer thing, and then in the winter they held the Jingle Ball. So the Jingle Ball was usually in Lowell. This year it was headlined by Simple Plan, which is why we went. But the 2 like secret weapons of that show were, from Mike, it was Hilary Duff who played, which was cool, I guess. And then for me, it was Maroon 5. I really, really, really loved Maroon 5 ever since that first time I heard Harder to Breathe. Thought that song was amazing. That was their only hit or only single out at the time, I think. Pretty sure it was, because they played like super early in the night. But I love Songs About Jane. We just did a Seltzer Time episode, podcast episode a couple weeks ago where we talked about our 5 favorite records, and my 5th favorite record of all time is Songs About Jane from Maroon 5. So seeing Maroon 5 play super early in the day, very early in their career, I guess, as a band, I'm pretty sure that Adam Levine had the same like red and blue polo shirt on when they played this show that he had on in the Harder to Breathe video. I wish I could prove that, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. But it was like one of those typical pop music Christmas holiday show things. Every band comes out, they play for like 15 minutes, you get like 4, maybe 5 songs, and then that's it, they leave. There's like a 5-minute intermission, and then the next act comes out. So this bill was Fifi Dobson, who I don't remember a whole lot about. I don't even actually know if we caught her. I think she's pretty sure she played first, if I remember correctly. So Fifi Dobson, who I think had 1 song, maybe 1 single. Hilary Duff, who played like middle of the show, which was cool. She was on Disney Channel as Lizzie McGuire and all that, and then she did this, you know, she had this huge music career. But she was cool. Stacey Orico, who I only remember had 1 song. I'm sure she played more. I don't really know much about her either. Clay Aiken, who came in 2nd, I think, on American Idol. So that was kind of cool. It was a Christmas show, so I think they all did a Christmas song or something. But Clay Aiken was kind of like the big deal because he had just come off of American Idol. He was huge. Everybody loved Clay Aiken at the time. Nick Lachey and Jessica Simpson played. I think they each did 2 or 3 songs, and then they did like maybe like 2 Christmas songs. But that was cool. I think they only had somebody playing acoustic guitar, and then they had a bongo player, which was pretty rad. But at the time, they had that show Newlyweds on MTV, so they were massive. Probably they were easily the biggest artists that played that day, but they weren't really there to like promote music. It was kind of just like promoting the show. I think they even filmed some of it for the show. I don't remember, but Dido was supposed to play. She was sick, so she didn't end up playing. They swapped her out. It was kind of like a last minute thing, so her spot was taken up by like one of the DJs on Kiss 108. I guess he had like some kind of a career or like a musical project thing, so he played like acoustic or whatever. He might have even played first, to be honest with you, because I don't really remember seeing him, but I actually looked up some news articles to see if there was anything about this show, and he was brought up. And then, yeah, you had Maroon 5, who played, I think, 2nd or 3rd that night. They were great from what I remember. They played, I think, only 4 songs, but it was great. I loved that band. There was a gap from 2003 to about 2000. When did I see them? Maybe 16. Whenever the last time they played the DCU Center is the last time I saw them. But there was a good, 13-year gap in between me and Maroon 5. I liked them more this time just because they were still killing it off of that Songs About Jane record. And then, yeah, it was headlined by Simple Plan. Who doesn't like Simple Plan, At the time, I was a massive Simple Plan fan. Saw them a bunch. The next episode of Stub Stories actually has 2 Simple Plan shows, so that's kind of crazy. And they were great. They played like 5, 6 songs, something like that. It was kind of interesting watching a band like that, who I would see at the Palladium, where there's, kids moshing and crowd surfing and stuff like that, play after a Hilary Duff, where there's not any of that stuff happening, and it's a little different. But they might have played a Christmas song. I don't really remember. Either way, Simple Plan rules. The 3rd show in this episode is Fall Out Boy's 2006 tour for Black Clouds and Underdogs, my bad, sorry, at the DCU Center in Worcester, Massachusetts. Okay, so 2006, this would have been about, I don't know, 2 or 3 months before I graduated high school. Fall Out Boy rolled through the DCU Center. I remember this show very, very well. It was, I think, their first tour for their third record. Still in arenas, still killing it. Pretty sure they were in arenas since the minute From Under the Cork Tree came out. But this lineup was so stacked at the time. So you had Fall Out Boy, who put on one of the best live shows ever. I'm not even the biggest Fall Out Boy fan anymore. A lot of their new stuff isn't really for me, but I did see them a couple years ago, and they still completely kill it. They're so, so good. But it was, excuse me, it's Fall Out Boy with All American Rejects, who would have been on their, I think, second, possibly third record. But I mean, they were huge. This was, I think, was like Move Along era. All American Rejects, so it might have been their second record, but yeah, so they were direct support. They were incredible. It was kind of weird because the first couple times I saw them, they were still doing I forget their lead singer's name, Tyrese, something, whatever, not Tyrese, I don't know his name. Their lead singer was still playing guitar throughout the entire show. This time he played guitar for a majority of it. I think the only song they did off their first record, which is my favorite, was Swing Swing. They might have did Paper Heart, but I know they definitely did Swing Swing. But then at the end, when they played Move Along, he was like as rock star as you possibly could be. Just like no guitar, clutching the mic, had the mic stand. It was a very like very rock and roll moment. But they were cool. You know, All American Rejects are great. They wrote a whole bunch of huge songs. They were fun to see live. Hawthorne Heights played before them at the time. They were massive. They still weren't really a band that I liked even back then. They were cool and they were really, really good live from what I remember. But I only liked those 2 songs, Nikki FM and Ohio is for Lovers. So the only songs I liked. Still to this day, the only songs I like. I saw them earlier this year, open for Newfound Glory, and it was kind of this. Oh, maybe it was last year. It might have been late. I think it was like November of last year. But either way, still the only 2 songs that I care about and even know from that band. But I remember they played. They were kind of a huge deal at the time. And then From First to Last played before them. I know nothing about From First to Last. I don't like that band. I never did. I probably never will. But Sonny from Skrillex was probably still in the band at the time. There's a plane going above my head, which is kind of weird. But yeah, so I think this would have been around the time where Sonny from Skrillex was still in the band. Before them was the Hush Sound, who I was not familiar with. So don't know a lot to talk about them. But Fall Out Boy killed it. Pyro, it's quite the production. I'm sure there were video screens. I don't really remember totally. I think if I'm thinking of the right tour, their backdrop, I'm pretty sure would have been the backdrop for their first record, or for their third record, sorry. And then I think the first song they played off of From Under the Cork Tree, that dropped, and I'm pretty sure it was the backdrop From Under the Cork Tree, which looking back on it is a really weird move, but whatever, it's Fall Out Boy. They were awesome. Seeing bands that size in an arena like the DCU Center is always a great time. It's not too big, it's not too small, and they put on a hell of a show. So I hope to never see Fall Out Boy in a club ever again. I have before, and it's amazing. It's one of the coolest experiences, but that band was built to play arenas. It's so awesome. I'm not even a fan of that third record, but it was a hell of a show. So shout out Fall Out Boy. Hey you guys, thank you so much for checking out another episode of Stub Stories. I'm having a lot of fun with this project. It's awesome. I love talking music. If there's any bands that you guys or any of these shows that you guys have been to, please let me know. That'd be sick. If you have any interest in me doing a podcast based around music, please let me know, because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do it anyway. I don't really care, so whatever. Next week's episode will have a Less Than Jake show from the Palladium, Simple Plan from the Palladium, which I think this was the first time I saw Simple Plan, if I remember correctly. Nope. This is the first time I saw Simple Plan headline a single show. But I've seen them headline a festival before that. We've got another Fall Out Boy show, but this one's from 2005. And we have Simple Plan headlining a festival at Six Flags, which is kind of crazy. So tune in next week. Bye, guys.